Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Acquisition SIG. This is a really great group of people that get together once a month. We meet on the third Tuesday of the month at 11 o'clock Central Time. So you can figure out what that means for you. And our next meeting will be October 18, which is the third Tuesday of October. So what we do is I will send out a topic a little bit ahead of time, like a day or so, for people to think about, anything about purchase suggestions or processing, or not processing, but purchasing around the end of the year. That seems to be a very hot topic. Different, I'm in a library in Texas. We don't have to deal with sales tax, but the California libraries do. So there often is questions about how to account for the taxes in acquisitions, different things like that. How do people do electronic resources, which we had a presentation about earlier. So just a lot of different things that can be associated with acquisitions. And I don't know how many people here in the room are actually do acquisitions or online. But if you have a topic that you're interested in, I didn't send anything out as a specific topic beforehand for this one. But if you have something that you're curious about, just put it in the chat, or if you're in the room, just ask the question. What I was going to do for kind of a time filler was talk about a couple of bugs that the acquisition group has brainstormed together to try and get some not new, but enhancements to acquisitions into Koha. So the first one that we really spent some time with is how to track modifications to a budget or a fund. We all have lived through the last 2 years, and I know our city removed some money from our budget halfway through 2020, and we needed to account for that. Right now, the only thing that happens, well, as of last release, the only thing that would happen is nothing. You would just go in and change the amount, and there was no tracking of that. There was nothing. You did not know. So what we would do was put a note in there saying, oh, we just subtracted $20,000 or whatever it was from this account on this date. Now with, I think it was 2111, I think. There is actually, oh shoot, now I forgot the word, logging. There we go. Logging of changes to acquisitions. So you can turn on the logging for acquisitions, and it will let you can then run a report or, look at that. And you can see, oh, on this date, we made a change to whatever, to, whichever fund or budget or whatever that you changed. So that's the first step. We were told when we submitted, we being the eternal optimists that we are, we submitted this huge suggestion for, update with, a UI and all this kind of stuff that, would make it, perfect. And it was suggested that we break it up into 3 separate bugs. So the first one has been handled. We've got the tracking of the information. So now the next part is bug 25916, which is to create kind of a UI that will allow people to easily modify, using a user interface instead of just going into the field and changing the amount. It will have a user interface that a lot of time, not always, but a lot of times what happens, especially toward the end of the year for our funds, is we start shifting money around. And, we didn't spend all the DVD money this year because, hey, there's just nothing to spend it on. And we move that over to the children's books or whatever. So we're suggesting that there be kind of a drop down that says, I want to add to it. I want to subtract from this thing, or I want to transfer to another fund, and with the case of the pandemic money, the money just disappeared. It didn't get transferred someplace else. So we wanted to have all those different options. So bug 25916 is the bug that will address that. And if that sounds interesting to you, as we learned this morning, get in there, comment, vote for it, copy, put your name on the CC list, and get some enthusiasm out there for that. Super. Okay. All right. So the link is right there in the chat. You can just click on it. Super easy. Go there. It'll be great. So then that would be fantastic. But then we thought, ooh, wouldn't it be really, really cool if we had a display of the history of the changes for that particular function. So you could go to the, I'm going to get these mixed up, but the fund page and see the history of, oh, on this date, we added this much. On this date, we subtracted this much, that kind of thing. So the final phase, if you will, of that bug is 25918. So if that sounds interesting to you, all right. Also, okay, super. Also in Zoom, you can comment on that. What is included in that bug is an attachment, a Word document that shows kind of a really rough schematic of what the user interface, what we're suggesting the user interface looks like. So if you have comments about that, it's rough. Yeah, I use Word and it's rough. But yeah, comment on that, look at that. Though this particular activity, if you will, of changing the amounts of funds during the year is something we heard from special libraries, from public libraries, from academic libraries. Some cases it's, an academic library that gets a grant or a grant for a particular subject, like, oh, this, or a gift, a donation from someone, an alum in the science department, and he wants the library to buy a whole bunch of books about science or whatever, so that field gets updated. So this is something that impacts all types of libraries, which is what the acquisition SIG really liked about it. This was something that everybody could benefit from. So those are two bugs that we'd really like. Now, the other thing is, if we get enough people interested in it and you have some money you want to spend on it, we can make this move a little faster. We can present this to a development group or a support vendor and get a quote and see how much they think it would cost. And we could actually try to get it through, we could use koha-US. We could submit these bugs to koha-US as a possible development for them to use. Or if your libraries have money, we can get this moving through. Because I'm not sure everybody knows, but acquisitions is maybe, well, I don't know about the acquisitions module, but it's one of the newer modules. Thinking 6-7 years old, something like that. And like the EDI stuff in acquisitions is maybe 6 years old. So there's still a lot of function there that can be added to help move that along. Any questions about that? Anybody in the room here think that's a really good idea? Yeah. Yay. Yeah. No, generally I've gotten very positive comments about that idea. Any questions or comments so far? Oh, okay. All right.
I don't have any.
Okay, that's fair. Then I'm going to move on to the next one. A bug that I submitted hours ago is related to end of year processing. For us lucky libraries who have their fiscal year go from October 1 to September 30th. And the publication world thinks October, the first part of October, is the perfect time to put out all the new pubs with the really popular authors. That is not a great combination, because what we do, and I know lots of Texas libraries are in the same situation, we hold off ordering the new stuff that's not going to come in until after October 1st until October 1st. We order it then because our cities won't allow us to purchase things that aren't received by the end of the year. It's got to be in the building before we can pay for it. So we can't order it and have it on a invoice or anything like that. So we don't want to muddy up our budgets for this year with things that aren't going to come in till next year. So we wait. So, and the other gotcha is it's use it or lose it. If you don't spend everything in your budget, then the city just sucks it back up again. And it's gone. You just don't get it. It doesn't roll over. So we want to spend every last penny. I've managed to get the electronic stuff down to $30 left in that budget. I'm pretty proud of myself. That's my all-time high, Okay. Yeah. So we can't do that. Yeah. Okay. So some vendors will work with, you've got an academic library. Okay. So the vendors will work with them to kind of create, allow them to pay for something in this year that won't actually come in till next year in order to spend this year's budget. Is that correct? Okay. So you're a small part of a larger budget thing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what the problem with us is the city won't let us pay for it if it's coming out next year. If it's going to be, if we're not going to have it physically until next year, we can't pay for it until next year. Bug, I'm trying to read my own writing here. 31606 is, oh, okay. I was like, how'd you read my mind? Yeah, 31606 is an enhancement request to make this whole end of year processing a little bit easier on libraries. So We do EDI processing. I've been picking Barbara's brain because they do not do EDI processing. So we want to come up with something that works for both types of libraries. You know, we've got vendors that, you know, Amazon, of course, we don't do EDI processing with, but, you know, we've got Ingram and Midwest Tape and Find a Way and stuff that we do EDI processing. So we want to have something that will be effective for everybody. So what I did is I kind of wrote up a short blurb in the description when I created the bug, but then I attached again a Word document that goes into more depth, you know, kind of explaining some of the constraints that we're under and things that I've tried in the past and Barbara has tried in the past that just haven't worked for various reasons, and then kind of suggested what would be ideal. I talked with Nick and he's like, and he mentioned this the other day, he's like, he was going to come up with a solution. He's like, no, you come up with the solution because then you know that it will work for you guys. So that's what I did with Barbara's help. But this is my first, you know, this is what I think. So what I need you guys to do then is to go in and look at that bug, look what I wrote up, and then poke holes in it. Because the more input that we get, the more ideas, the more different, every library is so different, the more feedback that we get to create something that's really robust, the better off we're going to be, and the more beneficial it'll be to everybody. So I encourage you to look at that and see what kinds of things you can think of that I didn't think of, or whoever. So there's that. Questions about that? Okay. Those are the two. So the reason I'm talking about the end of year processing is because this topic comes up 2 or 3 times a year in the acquisition SIG. You know, what do you guys do with the end of the year processing? How do you handle, you know, the switch over between the years and getting it charged to the right thing? That's a question that comes up. Well, it comes up in May, June, because some libraries, the end of their fiscal year is the end of June. It comes up in August, September, because there's some libraries that have the end of years September, and then it comes up in October, November, or November, December, because some people follow the calendar year. So it's a topic that comes up a lot. Other things that we have talked about, and of course I didn't write this one down because I wasn't going to forget it, and now I've forgotten it. So purchase suggestions. The question comes up, and I don't remember the bug for this one, but I know there's one out there. Connecting the purchase suggestion to the purchase of the item and then putting a hold on the item once it's been purchased, or once it's been ordered. That is a function that has been requested a lot of times that people bring up in the acquisition SIG. And it's one of those things, you know, patrons will come up to me is like, hey, you know, if I put the suggestion in, I should be the first person to check out the book, you know, and we're like, yeah, you know, that would be great. But we have so many purchase suggestions that we don't have the manpower to go in and follow that up. This one, I think this one has been assigned, and they will be starting work on this one, but I just kind of wanted to make people aware that this is an option that is in the not too distant future. 27595. What status is it in? No. Okay. I was talking to Nick earlier and he was asking me questions about it. So that's good. Okay. Okay. That is all I had to talk about. Just encouraging it, if you yourself are not the acquisitions person in your library, definitely encourage whoever is the acquisitions person to join us on third Tuesday of the month. The more people we can get involved, the more good ideas we can come up with. And yeah, how many people here in this room actually do acquisitions? Okay. Yep. Does you? Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Some libraries don't even use the acquisition module, which I don't understand. Sorry. I'm going to come and enlighten them. Okay, sounds fair. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great tool to have. And the EDI process, when we migrated, or when we were looking for ILSs to migrate to, the acquisition person I had at that time told me that she would quit if we didn't have EDI in the new ILS. She's just like, I will quit. I was like, okay, that means that's really important. So yeah, we made sure we got an ILS with EDI in it. Yes. You want? Okay. Okay. I feel your pain. Yeah.
Yeah, if I had my watch, I would be able to do that. So two things. One, the hold thing that we were just talking about, we had them put something in the purchase suggestion thing where when the patron fills out the thing, it tells me that they want the book left for a hold, because some people just like making suggestions and don't care about getting the book, but that doesn't do the fulfillment of the thing that you're talking about, which I'm very interested in. So I put my name on the book. Okay. The second thing I have I'm trying to understand is the EDI piece, because our school is unique in that we have a central receiving office and a separate central receiving module where we place our orders through our books that has something like, for instance, Amazon has a thing called Punch Out, which brings the information from that central receiving system to the vendor and back again, so that the central receiving person can place the order, and that's affiliated with our accounting office. I'm not sure if an EDI would work with our situation because of that centralized system that's in the middle. It sounds like the EDI thing would be for somebody who's making their own direct purchases directly without an intermediary. Is that correct?
I have not talked with anybody who uses EDI in a situation like you do. The people that I have talked to, it's like it would be a consortium, like there might be a central processing area, or, central tech services area for a whole bunch of libraries. They will use the EDI, if they're ordering for all the libraries, they will use it. That sounds like it's maybe a little different from what you have. Yeah, I'm not sure that would work. Yeah. If not, yeah. Yeah. No, it makes life so much easier. Yes. Okay. George points out that you can use acquisitions without EDI, which is what Bedford does. They do not use EDI, but they do use the acquisitions. So it's a great way to track fund, spending, because, we've got we've got the cities tracking or, their budget stuff. But this, what's in Koha is so helpful because the city doesn't know about what we've ordered. They just know what we've spent. And so with Koha, we can see what we've ordered and spent to know exactly how much we've got left in our different budgets. So it's just a little more refined. Plus with the city, we have one, I don't know, line item for children's books, and then when we go into Koha, we take that money and we break it down into young adult books and junior books and picture books and, that kind of stuff so that we can more granularly look at where we're spending stuff, which is very helpful. And the collection developers love it because, we can kind of break it up by which collection developer, whose money for each collection developer. And then they have a little more sense of, they're not spending their money and their neighbor's money. They can just spend their stuff. So it's very, very helpful in keeping track of what is spent. Barbara. Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to bring up bug 27817. It's called enhanced display of title information throughout acquisitions. And usually in acquisitions, the only title information you're getting is from the 245A. And for us, it would be really great if we could see the 245B subfield. So this one has been worked on and it has been pushed to master, and it will be in 2211. It is 27817. So that'll give you a little bit more helpful information. It may not make as much difference for people that are doing EDI, but for non-EDI, we're going through and finding the title and then receiving it. And so identifying the correct items, yeah. This is just a little extra information to help with that.
Yeah, because in the case of graphic novels and whatever, they all have the same name, and you order 4 of them at the same time, and you're just like, I don't know. Yeah. So, any other thoughts? Okay, I'm ready.
Really loud. So someone mentioned something the other day about modifying some values in Koha so that they had other places to put. I think, was it you? Other places to put if certain things were assigned to certain people in the purchase suggestions. Can you show anything about that? Because I'd love to see a little bit more about that.
I can go to a demo site and do it. Can I do it here? Okay. Okay. Got it. Browser, got it. All right. Okay. I am going to use the koha-US demo site for this. Oh, this browser? Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Share. Oh, I was forgetting. And then share. Okay. All right. So here we are. This is the koha-US homepage. Actually, this is the footer of the pages. And down here, you can see we've got the Koha demonstration site. So what I'm going to do is go to the staff interface, and then I have my information to get in here. And if I type it right, it will be a, ooh, okay. I usually type it wrong at least once. Let's do number. Okay, so what I was talking about with the, let's see, yeah, does it show up here? No. All right. Oh, okay. All right, so we've got these purchase suggestions here, and we have this one tab up here for pending. If I would go in and accept one of these or reject one of these, and I would get another tab called accepted and rejected. And I think there's ordered and checked. That's the other one. So what we did, and so it was through one of these acquisitions meetings that somebody suggested this, and I was like, yes. So if you go into administration, no, I always do this wrong. Yes, okay. I always argue with myself between between tools and administration. Never know. Okay, so oops. Okay, so down here, yeah. So under suggest status, we can that must not be the right one, because we do have it. Is that the right one? You can't change. Okay. All right. So so what I did here was add authorized value for suggest status. And what I did was I put in the names of the collection developers for the different sections of our collection. So I'm just gonna, just so I put in the authorized value of Rhonda, and the description is Rhonda, and I save it. So we've got Rhonda, and we will do one more. Since Christopher asked, we will put in here. Oops, I can't have one lowercase letter. Okay. All right, and I will save that, and that will get the point across anyway. So then we go back to our suggestions, and what we have is a person assigned to monitor this thing, to monitor the pending stuff. So yeah, okay. George even put one in here too. I'll just send that. Yeah. Okay. So I look at this and I think, oh, that's definitely one for Christopher. So I'm going to check it. And then if I come down here and select the status, you can see that there's now a Christopher and a Rhonda status down here, along with, you know, everybody out, you know, the standard pending, accepted, rejected, like that. So if I select Christopher, and we just leave the reason alone at this point, because I don't know what's going to happen to it. And then I submit this. And now I have one status unknown. Does it take a while to? Ooh, Christopher might be too long. Oh, okay. That. All right. Oh. Yeah, okay. I could do. Yeah, because I know I do that on our system. And we have a Christopher, but I think we just put Chris in there for, oh, that's not what I wanted. All right, I'm just gonna, since I'm here, I am going to shorten this. Oh, in the thing, because it's broke. Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. All right, I'm going to go back to suggestions. And, you know, you don't learn anything unless you make mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to choose this. I'm going to submit it. There we go. So now as a purchase collection developer, when I have, you know, my time set aside to look at purchase suggestions, all I need to do is come in here, look. Christopher could come in here and say, I don't have any right now. I'm on to the next thing. I come here, I've got one. Okay, let me handle that. I don't have to look through this pending list. I don't have to do what we were doing before was the person who was in charge of monitoring this would put the collection developer's initials after the in the notes field for the thing. And then you'd have to scroll through and find your initials in amongst all of the other text that was there, which was kind of harrowing. But this makes it real simple.
So my other question, again, I don't know this module all that well. My other question is if things are put into someone's tab, can they get notified of that?
At this point, no. They have to go in and check it periodically. Oh.
Hi, I just wanted to know, do the patrons see your name there in the status in the OPAC? Yeah. I wonder if you put in your authorized value and description OPAC, like in verification or something like that. Maybe they
That's
won't
good.
see your name.
Yeah, that's a
So just in case they see your name. And I checked in the database, the status is limited to 10 characters. So it was exactly that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I think you can be emailed, but I think it's an all or nothing thing. Because I remember something about, you know, about being able to get an email about the suggestions, but when we realized it would be like everybody getting it, and this is so long ago, but it might be something to look into to see what the parameters are and whether, how that emailing works.
Okay, yeah, so it's not about exactly this, the sending to the person, but if anybody wants to use this kind of workflow, but not for people, but for other statuses, you can create a notice in the notices with the same name, with the same code as the status, and it will send the email to the patron. Yeah, so I have one library who does that.
All right. Shall we try this? Gotta experiment. All right. So we'll go back to administration and authorized values, and just gonna do all. And just to show, what this does, because this, what we're going to do is true for any authorized value, whatever you set in the OPAC description is what shows up there. So I'm going to edit this. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So this, all right, that sounds really good. All right. I like this. See? It's what. All right. And it doesn't matter, in this particular case, we would rather, they all say, we'll see our names, but yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, that's right. He's going to start working on the development for me. Oh, okay. Okay. So then we go to the, oh, no, we don't go to the OPAC. We go to the patron. Yeah, George did the thing. All right, so. Oh, okay. You can. That's like magic. You're powerful. Mhm. Oh. Okay, so here's one that Barbara put in. And oh, no, that did not work. Try again. There. And we will do Christopher and submit. All right, that worked. All right, 10 letters, authorized values.
So one of the
One of the comments in the YouTube chat is, why couldn't you just use the managed by, change the managed by settings on the individual request, change who the manager is, and then you would have the whole list and you'd be able to sort it by the managers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what Bedford does. So you want to describe that a little bit or not really? Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's super simple. And yeah, if we can hide the name. Yeah, we get 15 purchase suggestions a day. It's just, and then mhm. Yes, we use the system preference of limiting the number of purchase suggestions, we say 3, to a rolling 30 days. And this. Okay. Staff evaluation. That's great. Okay. That was always kind of a, awkward thing, but I will update that before I leave today. Yep. Oh, unknown. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I forget. I was talking to somebody and they were like, there's always more ways to do stuff in Koha than just one. Well, here's an example. You figure out what works best for your organization and you run with that one. And you come to Koha conferences to learn what your options are. So there you go. All right.